Hi, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and we're going to be doing your December 2023 money and career reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out tremendously, so thank you so very much for doing so. So let's see what the tarot has to say. And we're shaking things up. We're doing things a little bit differently, so let me know what you think. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Interesting. Oh, there's some sort of pettiness here, Sagittarius, that's going to kickstart you forward. It's like something where you're looking at things. This is the five of wands, and it's just pettiness. It's either like, sniping at people for the sake of like arguing for the sake of arguing, or just chaos, and you're really done with it. There's a sense here of like, I'm not playing this game anymore, and I do not want to be playing this game. That's really moving forward during this time. So be aware with the list. This is judgment reversed, and there's a sense of I'm looking inward. Like, we can be really hypercritical during this time of ourselves. We have really high expectations. With the hermit here, this is also Virgo energy. So very strong presence of Virgo time frame, August 23rd to September 22nd. We have a real tendency to look in to say, okay, what is it that I want? We're very self-aware, which is a great thing, but we could be a little bit too self-aware. So be mindful of that as well, that we can be hypercritical of ourselves, really like, analyzing everything from all these different angles. When it comes to work, again, going back to the five of wands, we have a tendency to internalize everything, right? So we can have this chaos, and we're like, I don't want to do this, but we can really see ourselves as the problem. It's like, oh, I need to either fix this, or I need to do XYZ. This is not your problem. Okay? Stepping away from chaos, stepping away from bickering and arguing and, all this nonsense does not mean that, it's just not your problem. It's like, step away. And if they want to bicker, if they want to argue, if they want to have this chaos, that's completely up to them. It is not your problem. And that is so easy to say and so hard to do. But just know it right here during this time, Sagittarius, that there is just something here where you've had enough. Now, this does not mean quit your job, run away, join the circus, unless that's really what you want to do and you're talented in that. But it really does mean here that there are certain things that you're saying no to. And that's really going to change the energy vibration of you. It's like all of a sudden you're like, no, not doing that, don't want to. And then you start to see yourself move forward in a really big way. But just remember that you have a tendency during this time, Sagittarius, to internalize, really like let things eat you up. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Your self-awareness is going to be beautiful. It's going to help you move forward. It's going to lead you to more success, especially financial success, very grounding you, very much making things more realistic. But don't let things eat you up. You're having the Ace of Cups come into play. This is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of healing, beautiful love. And that is transformative. It's like the heart comes forward and it's like, this is what I love. This is what I want. This is what I need. And we're really starting to see a resurrection of self after a time that was dark, after a time that was really intense. And we thought, oh, I'm never going to rise out of this. I'm never going to be able to be more than just this pain or this hurt or this disappointment. Now, whether that be because we went to a doctor or we went to a therapist and we got some help, that could definitely help us along. Or if there is just like this awakening within us that happens here as well, that can be the case. But here, it's like, know that you're going to feel things very deeply. And it's going to be a very emotional time for you. It's not a bad time. With the three of wands, new opportunities are opening up. You're seeing your horizons are starting to look bright again. And it's like, oh, I can do this. And oh, but what about this? Oh, what about that? There are a lot of ideas coming forward. You're not about judging everybody else. You can feel judged by other people, okay, with this chaotic energy here. And it's like, I'm not living up to their expectations. But really seriously, who the heck are they? Like, do your best. Do your best. Look at yourself and say, okay, what is it that I want? And be really honest with yourself. All right. And if we're doing things to prove to our 15-year-old self that, oh, I could do this, like I could have this, heck, that person's gone. That 15-year-old self isn't here anymore. It's part of us, but we're living for so much more now. So let's be kind to ourselves and not set up, if I'm not on the red carpet, if everybody doesn't know my name, if I'm not, this successful or drive this car, have this zip code, I'm not a success. It's a very young way of looking at things. Okay, there's so much more to success than that. And that's also something that we're coming out of the chaos of. We're coming out of the chaos of everything has to be monetized, everything has to be financial, everything has to be just like this. All right. So just being aware of it during this time, you might find your greatest joy in something that you never put a price tag on. It's like, no, this is my sacred thing and I love it. I'm going to do it and I'm going to get joy out of it. All right. So let's clear the energy space. I do love the singing bowl, so we're still incorporating it. We're just diving into the tarot and then clearing the energy space so we can move forward even more in depthly in this reading. If you're interested in a private reading, in winning a private reading, put a snowman emoji in the comment box below. A person will be chosen at random and announced in a separate video, completely separate video on the 1st of January. And yeah, good luck to everyone. Don't be scammed by anybody contacting you and saying, oh, yay, hooray, you won. It's not going to be me. That all the instructions, all the winners will be announced through that video. And if you're interested in purchasing a reading, my website is daneharttarot.com. It's linked in the description box below. You can purchase a reading, a private meditation, a private personalized meditation, and a healing. All right, now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right, Sagittarius, let's see the energy that's coming from spirit during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. This is Angelic. So your angels, your spirit guides, right there with you during this time. You are going to find that you're getting a lot of guidance. Now, whether we listen to that guidance or not, that's completely up to us and how connected we are or where we are in our lives. But your angels and your spirit guides are constantly talking to you. You are not alone, and that is a very powerful thing. So understanding that angelically, you are protected, you are guided, your angels are wrapping their wings around you and saying, hey, listen, I'm here with you. I'm showing up with you. I love you. You're safe. You're secure. That's huge. That's huge. So being aware of that you do have that angelic connection, that you do have that love connection moving you forward. And it's in that angelic way. It's unconditional. It's beautiful. It's powerful. And it really will serve us well if we listen. There's so much information. There's so much like care here coming to you, Sagittarius, that if you listen, it's like you're taken care of. It's like it's like being wrapped up in a cozy blanket when you don't feel well when you're a little kid and your parent kind of scoops you up or your guardian scoops you up and you just kind of like cuddle on the couch and watch TV. That's the type of energy I feel here for you. It's like your angels, they got you. So just know that you might be feeling really stressed, kind of overwhelmed. There's tension. There's things that you're looking at. You're trying to move things forward in a very, very positive way for yourself. And your angels are like, I got you. It's like, I got you, little baby girl, like, or baby boy, I got you. Don't worry. So just be aware. Okay. So let's see what spirit has to say through the chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. This is soul's healing. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above your crown. And this is a real sense that your soul has this healing energy coming down around it. There's the soul's healing. You're connecting with universal energy, but there's almost a sense of like, a little busy for this. Like, I don't need to connect with this. We do need to make time for this soul's healing. I see this very strongly as Qigong. So if you practice Qigong or you're interested, there's a link in the description box. But this is really connecting with that universal light, that universal energy, that healing, that connection, that power that moves us forward. And that's going to be a big deal during this time for us. So connecting with soul's healing, but also knowing that we're kind of pushing this off. It's like, yeah, I don't need this. Like this is kind of silly or nonsense, or I'm really busy for this. I'll do it later. And then it's always, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. So being aware of that energy is going to be very important for us. It moves us to our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. This is the Hermit reverse. Yeah, that's exactly it. Where we have a tendency to take things, internalize them. It's all my fault, type of energy. If we have Virgo energy in our chart, or we have Virgos in our lives, they can be really, really great, but they can also, on the other hand, be so annoying and so intense that we're like, I love you, but right now I need alone time, type of thing. So being aware of this, Sagittarius, is also going to be very, very helpful. Our part of our personality, if it's in a Virgo energy, it's like that part of our personality can be so good, it can be so on point, but it can also be so draining and intense that we're looking at things. It's like, do I even know what I want? And that could be a really big question during this time. Do I even know what I want? Am I in the right place? Like, am I heading in the right direction? We can also go externally, like we're looking everywhere externally for what spirit is telling us internally. So here it's like, hey, listen, slow it down, connect, and listen to your angels. That means you're going to turn inward, not turn outward. And yet we're going to be listening to all this different advice, and it might just make us confuddled. Like it might just confuse us instead of helping us the way that we think it's going to. So be aware of this during this time, that it's a much quieter time. If we're in the northern hemisphere and we've entered into winter, it's a time of coziness, right? It's a time of turning in and cozy and kind of connecting. If we're in the southern hemisphere, it's a time of letting the sun shine on us and going out, but letting things kind of like slow down to that lazy summer pace. So being aware of that is going to be really important. No matter where we are in the world, the energy that is around us is going to be wanting to promote a bit of a slower, a bit of a lazier, more, I don't want to say lazy because that makes us feel like we're not doing it, right? You're being lazy. No, but it's like, it's just cozier. It's just a cozier feeling. And I want you to connect with that. Like be like that lizard sunning on the rock, or be like, that person, sitting by the fire, drinking a cup of tea. That's going to be so important for us during this time. With judgment reversed, we can feel judged. Okay. We can feel judged. We can be really internalizing everything. We can be looking at things. We can also be super hypercritical of ourselves. This isn't a time, and though in our Western world especially, we think it's supposed to be like this time of stepping out into the world and being like, hello, I'm here. And we could be like, why aren't people responding? Like, why don't people get it? Or why don't people see me? Or why don't people understand? And this is a time for stepping into our soul and saying, hello, I'm here. Like, okay, I'm showing up. Like, I'm connecting with my angels. I'm connecting with my spirit guides. I'm connecting with my creativity and my talent. This is a money and career reading. And so we're going to be looking outward and saying, okay, do I network more? Do I do this more? Do I do that more? Maybe I look for this job. Maybe I do this. Maybe I do that. Maybe I turn inward and really start to ask myself, what do I want? Like, what am I chasing? And why am I chasing it? What do I want? Where do I need to be? And then we start making our goals very concise and very precise. Even if we're in survival mode, we might be saying, okay, Dane, that's a real luxury. I'm in survival mode. The dollar menu on in McDonald's is too much for me. I mean, I've been there, done that. I mean, that is so hard. And here it's respecting yourself. It's saying, I know I'm going through this crucible time. I know I'm going through this intense forging of where I'm supposed to be and how I'm supposed to move forward to embrace my greatness and to embrace my power. But what do I want? And that's going to be a huge question for ourselves, money-wise, career-wise. I mean, I've listened to people who make so much money, it's ridiculous, and they're not happy. And you sit there and you're like, well, what do you want? And they're like, well, I want to be happy. How do I be happy? It's like they have more money than God, and they're not happy. Money doesn't buy happiness. It doesn't. It can fill, you have to fill that God-shaped hole with something. And it should be universal light, it should be with God. Like, however you say it, however you see it, a connection with spirit, even if you're an atheist, like connection with the earth, however you see it, it's filling that hole with part of your purpose. And that's going to be a big thing during this time where it's like, I need to reconnect. I need to reconnect with me. And it seems like such a luxury. It does. And I don't mean, quietly sitting there in meditation for hours and hours, because I don't even know anybody who can do that. whose life allows them that luxury right now. But it's a sense, but if you can, like, do so, and you're inclined to. But there's a sense here of like, how are you turning inward? How are you seeing yourself? And are you judging yourself always harshly? Is nothing you're doing going to be good enough? Because if that's the case, you're never going to get to that point of success, because there's always a sense of like starving inside. So be mindful of this. You might be having a hard time with religion, or any sort of orthodoxy now, looking at the world, looking at everything that everybody's going through. But can we believe in the growing of a tree? Can we believe in the power of the changing of the seasons? Can we find something that takes us out of ourselves and our own egos to be like, oh, well, that's real. Like that flower, that's real. That earth, that's real. It moves us to the hermit, and it's turning inward. As much as we would like this time, and we really do want this time to be like, hello, I'm here. It's like, I'm ready to party. Like, I'm ready for all of this, the connection, the mingling, the this, the that. Some of us might have it, but I see for a good majority of us Sagittarius is like, it's not there. This isn't the time to be in the midst of everything, actually, that can really throw us off our game. But if we are, mingling and connecting and looking at all the different ways to network and be very extroverted, this is a time also where you need to make sacred time to connect with you. That's just going to be so important. With the hermit energy, it's like turn inward and look at your light. And look at what illuminates. Look at what you want. Because we might be finding that what we're chasing is kind of what our ego wants, is what we think we're supposed to be desiring, wanting, going after. But it's not where we want to be. It's like, okay, what the heck is important? And we're going to be making some big decisions. Like there's a sense of like, make a list. Make a list, check it twice. What do you want? And you're going to be surprised, because if you kind of take out all the nonsense of, what my ego wants, how I want to peacock this, and say, okay, how do I want this? Like, what do I want for my life? You'll be surprised by the end of 2024 how far you've come. You will be. Connect. Make things a lot clearer. Make things a lot simpler. This hermit energy is like connect, because people are going to see that. They're also going to see when you connect with others, like you're super genuine. You've gone inward, you've looked at yourself, and it's almost like, well, now that I've gone inward and looked at myself, I can now see everybody else. And it brings us to the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords is the heartbreaks, the pains, the disappointments that have happened for at least a decade, that have shaped us, that has formed us. It's a real sense, or it can be since we were 10, for some of us it is going to be. And it's like, I'm rising out of the ashes of those constant chronic lessons. The heartbreak, the pain, the disappointment, the betrayal. And I'm stepping into myself, what I need, what I want, where I want to be for me, what I'm discovering, what I see for myself. And there's this real sense of like, oh, this is who I am. Oh, this is what I want. And then we're going to see the words that were thrown around that really wanted to hurt us, that wanted to break us down. It's like, you thought you could destroy me, but you didn't. You didn't destroy me. And that's going to be a huge thing, because we're going to be looking back at things that really hurt us, things that have promoted this like energy of chaos that seems to be drawn into our lives. And it's like, oh, you thought you could take me down with that, and you can't. And I'm also rejecting this chaos right here. This is what, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to our passion, when it comes to our workplace, we might find that things are rather chaotic. It might be from our own making. It might be from somebody else's, but we're done with that. It's like, oh, I'm so tired of being pulled into everybody else's nonsense, everybody else's chaos, everybody else's hurt, everybody else's pain, everybody else's everything. And it's not to be compassionate. I mean, especially I see a lot of this energy is very empathetic. So if you're an empath, if you're psychic, if you connect with energy very, very easily, you have to be mindful not to be pulled into it, and not for it to become all consuming. So here with the 5 of Wands, it's like, I see the chaos. I'm not getting drawn into the pettiness. I don't want it. I'm not doing this. And the 5 of Wands is also seeing the chaos within ourselves. And it's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game. And it's also like, well, how do I come out of that chaos? How do I step into where I need to be for myself? How do I open up the door? And the Ace of Cups is healing, love, compassion. We might find that we're really sensitive during this time, and we're going to think, oh, just buck it up. Stop being so sensitive. Stop being such a baby. Just buck it up and keep on pushing forward. And Spirit's like, well, what if you listen to your heart? Like, what if you let that compassion come forward? Because the way that you're seeing things, you've come full circle in your mind. You've come full circle from everything that you've seen, everything that you've been through. And it's like, oh, this is me. This is my strength. There's a clarity of thought to you during this time that's going to be, it's going to be a game changer. It's and it has you looking at what's really important. And that really, really, really translates financially. It's like, what's important? What am I working towards? What are my goals? What do I need to do? And the Ace of Cups is healing, beautiful love, guiding us. It's a sense of emotions coming up that have been holding us back, like things that we have just shoved down. It's like, shove it down, keep on moving. And we can find that tears come very easily during this time. We can find that we feel like things that are emotionally very important to us come forward. This is a beautiful time, right? The holiday season is a beautiful time, but it can also be a time that we remember, those that we have lost or what we don't have, and letting ourselves look at these emotions and embrace them, but not be swallowed by them. That's a big thing. It's like saying, I feel, I connect, I love. And my heart gets to be right here. And so when we let our heart be right here, our angels get to be closer to us because we've opened up our feelings. We've connected with the language that they speak, and they speak the language of the heart. They speak the language of emotions. And the Ace of Cups is a gift that we're not taking right now. We might be taking it subconsciously. We haven't gotten there yet, but we're not taking it right now. It's right here. And it's intense and it's overpowering at times. And that could be why we're pushing it off. It's like, oh, this is a little bit too much. Not really here for this right now. It's not reversed, so we're not completely not taking it. It's not like, oh, I'll take this later. But this is going to be something that we kind of like touch our toe into. It's kind of like when you're going into water and you're like, oh, let me see how cold it is. We tip our toe into it. And then we start to embrace more feeling. We start to say, okay, how do I open up to this? How do I move forward in this? What do I love? What do I want? What do I need? And it brings us, when we really embrace our emotions, it brings us to this crossroads. It brings us to this opening up. And it's like, oh, there's more out here than I realized. And this is career-wise. It's like, oh, there's more here for me. This could be, seeing ourselves really kind of embrace what we want at work. This could be seeing ourselves like looking at changing a job if we want to. We don't have to change a job. Don't think, oh, okay, now I have to change everything about me. It's like, no, we can sit there and be like, oh, well, this is my role at work and this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I'm going to do to elevate my spirit, my soul, and myself. But there's almost a sense here, like more things come forward for you, Sagittarius. And it doesn't have to be that it's work related. We don't have to monetize everything we do. We can have things that we just love. We can have things that we just absolutely adore doing, and we do it just for the fun of it. And it elevates our spirit. It brings us this radiance of being where people are drawn to us because we are living so much in our truth. We are living so authentically. I know that word gets thrown around all the time, living in your truth, living authentically. Everybody says it. And it's become like, a catchphrase. But it's important. It's important to say, what is it that really, I watch a person and she always says heart jumping. What's heart jumping to me? What makes you go, oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. What energy is brought forward like that? Because we're going to see that propels us passionately, that propels us career-wise, that starts to really open up doors. And we're like, oh, I can do this. Oh, what about this? Oh, what about that? And we start to get really excited about things and doors start to open. Ideas start to open. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. It brings us to but also remember career-wise that there is the sense of a battle coming forward. And we can be looking at the chaos of things because the ones we have pentacles here kind of represented by the hermit. It's like go inward, turn inward, connect, because this is Virgo energy, earth sign energy. Earth sign is represented by the pentacles. So turning inward brings us money. Okay. Or what we value as much as money. So that's really good. Our mind is becoming more clear. We've completed a cycle, and that's what the swords are the mind, communication. We're a lot more crisper with things, a lot more clear about things. And it's not because everything's been easy. It's like, oh, I've walked through that, those muddy puddles, right? I've walked through that. I want to say shit show. Okay. And I do apologize for swearing, but that's what Spirit is saying here. It's like, I've walked through that. I'm not doing that again. It's like when the lawn in the neighborhood where, the person needs to clean up after their dogs type of thing. Here with the Five of Wands, chaos. It's chaos. You're used to chaos in one form or another. You might have been raised in chaos. You might have like always known chaos when it comes to work. And so this is going to be very familiar. And yet this is something where we're like, no more. No, I don't want it. The Ace of Cups, that's after we say, wait, we don't want this. We don't want the chaos anymore. That again, we're so used to that we can find that we just get pulled back into it no matter what. And that's not true. If we open up our hearts to where we really want to be, we start to call out that chaos because it doesn't elevate us at all. And then we start to see our path changing. But it depends on if we really say to our hearts and our souls and ourselves, like, okay, I'm going to be kinder to you. You don't need the McMansion at the top of the hill. I'm going to be kinder to you. I'm going to show up for you. What do you love? What do you want? What do you need? And that starts to change things. And it's like, oh, okay. It brings us to the subconscious spirit message, and that's centered. And spirit is saying here, subconsciously, we need to be centered. We need to find our center, find our love, find what we want, and really start to embrace that. It brings us then to our subconscious. I love this one. Our subconscious, what is this? Chakra energy. And this is visualization. See it in your mind's eye. Sometimes we have dreams. And I love dreams. I love dreams. I live off of dreams. They're so wonderful and beautiful and passionate. But sometimes our dreams, when we're visualizing something, they can become all-consuming. We give ourselves time frames. We say it has to look like this. Spirit's vocabulary is limitless. Our vocabulary, very limited, very limited as human beings. So here, when we're visualizing, visualize the energy that you want to step into right now. Visualize a harmonizing energy that moves you forward financially, career-wise. And start to say, you know what, I'm going to go after that feeling. Because sometimes when we visualize things, and it's like, well, I want that house, and I want that paycheck, and I want this, and I want that. It makes us feel like a failure because we don't get it in the first 5 seconds that we visualized it. And so we think, oh, that's it. Closing my third eye, I'm done. I'm out of here. And then we step right back into that chaos that we're trying to step out of. If we go off of feeling during this time, if we say, okay, what emotionally, energetically feels right to me? How can I move this forward? That's going to be a bigger thing. It's like, what is that energy field like? How does that resonate with me? And knowing that our third eye is opening, and knowing that we're able to see, we're able to visualize, and knowing that our mind is so powerful that what we're focusing on, man, it comes true. And it might come true for some of us if you're really powerful, really, really quickly. But if we're always used to being in chaos, it might be that, okay, it's easier to call in the chaos, right, than it is to call in the blessing instantaneously. So just be mindful about this. But the third eye chakra, subconsciously, so powerful, so powerful. Your visualization, Sagittarius, on point. So be mindful about what you're daydreaming about. Be mindful about your visualizing for yourself because you're calling it into your existence. You can even be visualizing, oh, I could be so stressed about this. And like we can make up these little, scenarios in our heads. But if we're doing that and we're focusing on the stress and the chaos, we're not focusing on the beauty and the harmony. So we're walking down the stress and chaos path. So just be mindful about this. And again, we're so used to that energy that we're wanting to break it. We really come to the conclusion, like, I don't want this anymore in my life. But because we're so used to it, it can be very frustrating. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Four of Cups. Be mindful that we tend to think we know what we want, right? I know what I want. I know exactly when I want it. I know how I want this. And then with the Four of Cups, Spirit's like, hey, look over here. Stop boxing yourself in. Stop it. Because Spirit is going to show you something really quite beautiful, but really unexpected. And when it comes forward, our first instinct is going to be annoyed because it's taking us from what we want to be looking at, what we want to be focusing on. And Spirit's like, oh my gosh, just listen to me. It's kind of like when you're talking to a little kid. Ooh, sorry, just kicked my camera. When you're talking to a little kid and you're like, oh, just listen. If you stop having your temper tantrum, you will see that, if you just did XYZ, we'd all be happy right now. So embracing this energy is going to be super important. Our subconscious tarot message is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is we're walking away from what we once thought we would love. It's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't want this anymore. We're good. And this can be an ending as severe as a divorce, but this can also be a sense of, I'm not boxing myself in anymore. I'm not saying it has to look just like this and it has to look just like that. I'm opening up my world and I'm opening up myself. And it can be walking away from a relationship, a job, a hurt, pain. It's walking away from chaos, whatever was chaotic in our lives. But it's also saying to ourselves, I get to have dreams, right? And I don't always have to be trying to do what I said I was going to do when I was 15, or box myself in a way that I said, oh, this is what success looks like. And I decided that when I was very young, and it's not working for me anymore. Spirit's like, hey, listen, you have the whole world out there for you. Connect and see where it takes you. All right. All right, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this time and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and harmony, Sagittarius. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless and happy holidays. Bye.